Deep sigh. Letting go will become easier once you learn how to accept it. The reason why it seems so challenging and it's so difficult is because you're not ready to move forward, and that's fine. So, welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance. Let's just get straight into today's video. Speaking from experience, what has helped me amongst my healing journey was to realize that letting go was only challenging because I was refusing to put in the work. I was refusing to cut off certain areas of my life, whether it was a people, person, place, things, materials, and accept that the time that I had was no longer going to continue. And when you're not aware of yourself or what you may want to do in life, it seems difficult when it comes to family members, when it comes to friends, when it comes to schools, even like your hometown. Anything that you are familiar with, you become attached to. And all attachments don't have to be based off of codependency, trauma, bonding, trauma, or chaotic. Some bonds are actually healthy. Some relationships are actually good, like certain environments pour it into you. But if you are trying to move forward and you're elevating and you understand life, nothing is going to stay the same unless you stay still. So when you're elevating your mind, when you're becoming the best version of yourself, when you decide that you want to physically move, when you decide that you want to grow financially, physically, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, in any area of your life, you have to be okay with releasing what you were once familiar with. You have to be okay with creating distance in personal relationships that maybe took you years, right? Time, energy, and effort. Same thing if you decide to physically relocate and you move in a different environment. And it's sad because we spent so much of our energy and ourselves in these stages, in these people and places, that sometimes it could be scary because you're not used to anything else. What you saw, what you've been exposed to, even what you were raised, like how you were raised in your household. This doesn't mean that you didn't have feelings in these moments. This doesn't take away that you went through certain experiences with these certain people, places, and things, but it's just a reminder that if what you learned and who you were in these moments were not helping you, you have to release it. You have to learn to accept it because it's taken away from you. It's not allowing you to prosper or elevate and be the person you want to be. Now, there are two sides to a coin. So it always, like I said, doesn't have to be negative, but it's just like, if you had genuine times and you had good times, take the good times that you had and continue to create those memories in the present moment and in the future. So if there were certain lessons in certain environments and certain people and relationships and opportunities that you had and you like to experience them, continuing doing that. Always take what resonates, leave the rest, and this goes for anything in life. But if you are not having bad relationships or bad experiences with people and they are a part of who you want to be as you're growing in the present moment in the future, then of course keep these relationships and learn to adjust and to adapt to them, because time is constantly changing, so are you. Letting go is a process. So when it comes to letting go, these are some recommendations that you should keep in mind. The first thing that you have to keep in mind is that there's no timeline. Whenever you decide that you want to change is when you'll start taking the necessary steps in order for you to see results or to go in a direction or become what it is that you're desiring for. So nobody can force you to change. You may see things in the world, you may be influenced by people, even your family members, peers, right? This doesn't mean what you see, what you've been exposed to, what you're witnessing aligns with who you are and what you want to do. Only take information and be inspired and be influenced by people, places, and things who you feel in alignment with. Nobody gets to tell you how long you get to grieve. And honestly, grieving could take your entire life. Once again, there's no timeline. So you don't have to rush yourself to make changes if that's not what you want to do. And you may see other people doing things. Once again, if that's not a part of who you want to be or the direction that you want to grow in, make sure you're not focusing on it. It's really imperative to be mindful of what you watch, what you engage with, who you listen to, and what you allow yourself to be focusing on. Like, you really do have to be mindful, because if you're being influenced by certain people, places, and things, and they don't align with your morals, your mindset, your behavior, your character, your patterns, your belief system, you're giving your energy and time into things that are now going to distract you and will keep you stuck and stagnant or take away from you. And that's not what you want to do. So the second thing you have to do is validate your emotions. Now, this is going to be uncomfortable and difficult, because when you're used to suppressing your feelings, when you're used to not being honest, when you're used to not expressing yourself, and you're not taught how to be emotionally intelligent, you're not having anybody to confide in, you're solving your problems by yourself, you're going through your traumas by yourself, you're not saying how you feel, you don't know what to do because you feel lost, you're going to feel triggered. You have to allow these triggers to come up. You have to allow everything that you've been sweeping underneath the rug to project. You need it to be expressed. Like, learning to articulate your feelings can cause you to feel wounded. It can cause you to feel sad. It can cause you to feel angry. Like, being angry is normal when it comes to stages of grief. And because there's no right or wrong way to do this, take what resonates, leave the rest. You have to take your time. Like, if you were going through so many trials and tribulations for many years, and you decided one day that you don't want to continue this burden, or you don't want to continue to feel like this, you're going to feel challenged. You're going to feel uncomfortable, and you have to learn how to validate that discomfort, because in those moments where you weren't able to speak up, or you didn't have nobody to trust, or maybe you were lost or just too ashamed or whatever it was, you didn't say how you felt. And that's going to cause you to feel mad. It's going to cause you to feel sad. And it's okay. It is okay to be angry at certain situations. It is okay to feel mad and frustrated, because years later, months later, you're able to see certain situations, people, and things for what they are. I'm speaking from experience, but what has genuinely helped me on my healing journey was to realize I'm not this angry person that people try to paint me out to be. And that's the same thing with you. If you know you're not somebody who's an angry person, and even if you were somebody who was angry and you no longer want to resonate with that, you know what you go through. Nobody can make you feel embarrassed or ashamed about what you're going through when you understand how psychologically this is affecting you, how you realize financially how this is affecting us, how this is affecting you mentally, what you had to experience. So, validating your trauma, because that version of you, even though you're moving forward and you're letting go, that was still a part of you. Those times where you didn't have the guidance, the wisdom, the discernment, those times where you were going through so much abuse, that still was a part of you, and that's still inside of you. And until you learn to sit with that little boy, sit with that little girl, or that past version of you, you're going to continue to feel attached. And that's why a lot of people are diagnosed with having PTSD, ADHD, being autistic, and these labels and attachments are not permanent. They're not permanent. So when you are learning to let go, you honestly have to sit with yourself. And that's the third thing. Anything you do in life, you have to make time for. But when it comes to letting go, you have to sit with yourself. You have to self-reflect. The first thing was to accept that you are letting go. The second thing was validating your emotions, expressing yourself, feeling the frustration, anger, sadness, talking about it, right? Third thing is sitting with ourselves and reflecting. We have to process the information. You have to realize, like I said, being around narcissistic, toxic, dysfunctional, mean, evil, being touched on, being beaten, being in poverty, being evicted, having no friends, having people talk about you that you trust, not having anybody to be there for you, or people telling you that your problems are just so negative, or people making fun of you. Oh, you guys don't mind the wig. People, just being horrible when nobody deserves anything bad to happen to them. Letting go is a journey. So it is really important that when you decide to let go, you take your time doing it, because when you say you're going to move forward from a situation, you got to let it go. And as you learn to let go of your past and versions of you that you no longer want to resonate with, or things you just had to outgrow, right? You realize that every single day. Every single day, as you get your notebook and you journal how you feel, you realize this is how you felt. Every single day, you make time to go to your therapist, your guidance counselor, your friends and family that you do trust and love, and you say how you feel, you're releasing it. And even when you let go of it, right? It's like a wound. It takes time to heal. So when you decide to let go of those friends that talk badly about you, you may feel, like I said, angry. Me personally, when I realized a lot of people who I thought were my friends weren't my friends, I personally didn't have too much attachment towards them because they never really knew me. But I was more in the beginning shocked, because it's just like, if this is how you felt, you could have addressed that. But it wasn't until later that I realized that I personally didn't value the relationship that much. So I've never lost a real friend before. I've only had one genuine, well, I've had maybe less than 5 people, but like one genuine best friend I've ever had in my entire life that wasn't based off of circumstances, that didn't have any interior motives, who didn't talk badly about me to their friends or their like only one person, female wise, I could say. Everybody else I knew in passing, and I also been through a lot. I've traveled a lot, so I've met a lot of people in my life. But from the experience, you're not going to feel any type of way if you realize that, okay, these situations were based off of circumstances. But the relationships where you put time, energy, and effort, like I said, you may feel shocked, you may feel mad, but you will move forward once you learn to accept, okay, things happened the way that they were. And once I realized that I was shocked with certain people, I wasn't disappointed, because when you're around people and you have genuine intentions and you're a good person, you're not looking for ulterior motives. You're not looking, like, you're not paying attention to stuff like that. So it makes sense for you to feel some type of way. But if you know you didn't do anything wrong, letting go will become a lot easier. When you know you did everything you did, even with relationships, even with family members, if you know you did everything that you could, or even if you did have separation with certain people and your family members or anybody that you once knew, you learn the lessons afterwards. And that's why it's really important to pay attention to your actions, pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to how other people make you feel, and learn from it. We have to learn from our decisions in order to genuinely be at peace and let certain people and places and things go. If not, we will continue to feel stuck and stagnant and think it's the end of the world, and that's not true. Letting go is a journey. So if you have questions, comments, or concerns, and this video resonates with you, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you're commenting down below. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on your post notification bell. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All the information will be down in the description box below. And if you want a one-on-one session, head to my website at tyguidance.summer.com. Letting go will become a lot easier once you are ready and willing to accept who you used to be, what you used to know, in order for you to become who you want to be. Until next time, I love you guys. I'll say bye.